What's up, Strategists? This is Phil with High Grade Strategies, bringing you something a little different today. Today we're going to do actually our first Gundam TCG news video. We're a couple weeks out still from the next STO. It's going to be ST09. This is an ultimate structure deck, so a little bit different than the previous starter decks we've gotten. There's going to be some changes, mainly to the MSRP, as well as what's going to come in the deck. So breaking it down, a little bit of an overview. ST09 Ultimate Structure Deck is the Destiny Ignition. It's going to have an MSRP of $39.99. It's going to contain your usual 50 card ready to play starter deck, as well as 22 additional cards, damage dice, bonus pack. 10 of these cards in the deck will be new cards. The rest will be reprints. It's the additional 22 cards as well as the 10 new cards. That's going to be a bit different. So with most of the STO, the starter decks so far, we've seen much of the decks be new cards, whole new factions. This is going to be an update of existing factions. It's going to be mainly Zaft, as well as other factions from the Seed franchise. So we'll have Orb, and mainly the real big focus is going to be on the Minerva Squad. Minerva Squad is primarily purple, but what makes this Ultimate Structure Deck, or Ultimate Starter Deck, a little bit different is the fact that on the cover it is represented as 3 distinct colors. So unlike the traditional white packaging with your 2 color split on the front as well as your primary face units, this deck will feature 3 units on its cover in gold packaging, as well as a color split of primarily purple with red and white for support. And we do get to see that represented in the actual cards that have been revealed thus far. So kind of going over a little bit of the 10 cards before we get into those cards specifically. We have 7 new units already revealed, 1 new base card, specifically applying to Minerva Squad, 1 new command, and a new pilot in the form of Shin Asuka. So, from here, we're going to just kind of go ahead and get into the deck itself. We do have an idea of some of the reprints. Some we can speculate on, some we do know for sure, so we'll go over that as well. But yeah, so let's get started with it. So the first thing is, going over it again, there's 4 out of the 10 new card types are LR, or Legendary Rare. There are 13 reprinted card types that will have new illustrations, and I think that's going to be a major big deal. Reprinted cards is fine. We've seen Close Combat and Overflowing Affection, certain key staple cards already reprinted several times with various art, and this is just going to be no exception to that. The 2 that they give us to demonstrate this is we get a Strike Gundam reprint, which links up with Kira Yamato, so that makes it very likely that we'll see a reprint of Kira Yamato in the deck, as well as the Dual Gundam, which it just links up with any Zaft trait pilot. So I did already mention that Zaft will be a major faction in the deck. Additionally, we have Orb and the Minerva Squad. So getting into those new cards, the very first card is going to be the face card of the deck. It's on the cover, it's on all of the supporting material for it, and that is the Force Impulse Gundam, a level 5 4-cost unit, Zaft and Minerva Squad, that links up with Shin Asuka and has a 5 AP, 4 HP body. This card is great. On Destroyed, choose 1 Minerva Squad unit card with Force Impulse Gundam in its card name from your trash and add it to your hand. So this already plays on the purple reanimator strategy, which we've seen in things such as the Vulture or Gundam Age deck. The Vegan strategy is very, very self-reliant on self-destruction of units, either through commands or just crashing into other units, and then seeing those cards reemerge from the trash. It's very, very similar to how Magic the Gathering plays black with Reanimator, purple. It's just a very easy kind of, you can see what they're trying to do and it makes sense, and I feel like it's building an identity for the color, and that's good. You want in games like this where you have different color bases and a color pie, as it were, you want each of those colors to be represented with key aspects, and Reanimator is purple's key aspect, in my opinion. Overall, solid card. We will get to the pilot later, but I really want to focus on the units first, and especially these Force Impulse Gundams. The various Impulse Gundams that have been revealed make it clear that there's going to be a big synergy and focus on how well you can cycle through the deck, get those Impulse Gundams to the trash. Some of them you want to get there early. It's very, very surprising at the kind of lack of restriction you have when pulling these cards, and we'll get to that here in a second, but the strategy is very, very synergistic and focused on trash synergy and reanimation. The next one we've got is Sword Impulse Gundam. This is a level 4, 2 cost, 4 AP, 2 HP, Zaft and Minerva Squad unit. This link condition is Coordinator trait or Minerva Squad trait, so you don't have to have it linked up specifically with Shin. Still a great option. However, on deploy, if you deploy this unit from your trash, choose one enemy unit that is level 3 or lower and destroy it. Another thing that black does in Magic that purple seems like it's going to do in Gundam is removal. Spot removal is very, very helpful. It's important. There's a lot of cards that will say do 3 damage or 2 damage. Most of them are in red. Surprisingly, there's some in blue, but most of those are going to be in red. However, purple just says destroy. There's usually conditions on it, whether it be level restrictions or number of cards in your trash. But this card is very, very good, and I think it's got a lot of just impact it can have on a variety of decks that already exist, as well as the deck that it's coming packaged in. And that's a great thing about this ultimate structure deck. And I do say structure deck, I don't like, I know it's an ST or starter deck, but this feels more like a structure deck, like you would see in something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Next, we have the Blast Impulse Gundam. It's a level 5, 3 cost unit. Again, Zaft and Minerva Squad. Links with Shin Asuka on a 5 AP, 3 HP body with blocker. There are not a lot of purple units with blocker specifically. It's mainly a white or even a blue ability, but not so much a purple ability. I'm not going to say there are no cards. I believe there are a couple that have purple, but it is not a common ability on purple. These work a lot like keywords in any other game, so it's not that they're exclusive, but you do see them more often on certain colors. On purple, we've seen Suppression has definitely been an option. Not too much in the way of Breach, but Breach is also another option. So it's very cool to see a blocker, and of course it's part of that Impulse Gundam synergy and cycle. So this is another option for Shin to link to. This is another target for trash Reanimator shenanigans, and as we move into the cards, you will see just how effective it is to have any of your Impulse Gundams in the trash. It's not very, necessarily you want specific ones or have to have specific ones. It's kind of like a utility piece or a Swiss Army knife, where you will move the units to your trash and then reanimate them as you see fit and as you see necessary. And like with the Sword Impulse Gundam, you're going to bring that back so that you can get spot removal. You're going to bring back the Blast Impulse Gundam so that you have that blocker when you need it. If something heavy is coming in, especially something that has suppression, and you don't want it to necessarily hit your shields, great option. Have something with blocker. Having it on that heavy of a body means that potentially, if you've got an enemy unit that's got a lot of breach or something like that, your opponent drops a wing Gundam, you're gonna want to consider using this as a way to block into that, destroy that unit, settle that threat for good right then and there. Next, we have the base Impulse Gundam. So, this level 3, 2 cost unit, it has a 3/3. Again, this is a Zaft and Minerva Squad unit. It links with Shin Asuka. What makes this one different is we now have our specific key. This is what ties the other Impulse Gundams together. It's this piece here. So, activate main, For 2 resource, you can return this unit to the bottom of its owner's deck, choose 1 unit card with Impulse Gundam in its name that is level 4 or higher from your trash, and then deploy it. So, we can just quickly go back through those units. Blast Impulse is level 5, the Sword Impulse is level 4, the Force Impulse is level 5. All 3 of our main Impulse Gundams that we're going to target with this are level 4 or higher. We can target any of them and reanimate them. It's so cool. It's such a wonderful way to make use of a strategy that already exists but is a little bit weaker in things like the Vulture and Gundam X or the Vegan archetypes, and just kind of build on that. So I can easily see these cards being put into either of those archetypes. I personally, as you've seen previously on this channel, we did put up a Gundam X new UNE Vulture build, so I'm a big fan of that series, and I really want to see that deck kind of flourish, so I'm looking forward to getting a lot of these cards to actually improve that. And when we get to the new base that's mentioned here, there's a lot of information on that. Well, I shouldn't say just information, there's a lot with that card that specifically I feel ties very, very well into those synergies, but it works, of course, incredibly well with the Minerva Squad Zaft synergy that's built here. We're going to move on to next is the Zaku Warrior. The Zaku Warrior is your O Gundam, your Graze unit, your Zaku 2, anything like that. It's a level 2 1-cost unit. It does not have a link. It's Zaft and Minerva Squad on a 2/2 body. It's fine. It's wonderful if you need just something to fill that, and most decks are running a variation of this card now. And they all generally run very well. The Zaku 2 that has the on your turn ability on attack is perhaps a little bit better, edges out the rest, but they're all pretty good. And this one's gonna do fine. It works well with the strategy that you're setting up with your Impulse Gundams, trying to get things to the trash. More cards in trash seems to be better. You also will have more removal options that are just going to be effective based on having a number of units in your trash. If you're running, say, Barbatos Lupus Rex, you want to have things in your trash. You want purple targets, I believe, specifically, but just having those units, having those targets in your trash is an effective strategy for building up that thing's crazy ability, and it can wipe the field. The next card we have is our first orb card reveal. And this is another reason why I really do believe, and a lot of other people that have already posted news videos regarding this deck believe, Kira Yamato's got to be a reprint. It's not already confirmed, but this is another links with Kira Yamato. This level 6 5-cost unit. It's got 4 AP, 5 HP, blocker. Rest this unit, non-blocker works to change the attack target to it. While a friendly base is in play, this unit gains suppression. Suppression is perhaps situationally incredibly powerful, but it's powerful, it's effective. Anything past or anything before that last shield, suppression is very, very effective. It's going to move 2 shields at a time once you've got a base out of the way. Any units with suppression are a big threat. A unit like this, where it also has blocker or suppression, makes it a threat in either direction. It's going to be a big body that's very hard to overcome, or it's coming in hot and heavy for your shields, and it's going to do a lot of damage. Moving on, our last unit to talk about before we move on to the other 3 remaining cards is the Savior Gundam. So this red level 6 5-cost unit with a 5 AP and 4 HP linked to Athrin Zaw. So just like we suspect Kira will be reprinted, it seems very likely that Athrin will be reprinted for this deck, which makes sense. Everybody's getting their upgraded Gundams. So this is Zaft and Minerva Squad unit, again, 5 AP, 4 HP. When linked, if there's 5 or more purple cards in your trash, deal 2 damage to all units with 5 or less AP. Immediately, my brain goes, Okay, so Providence Gundam was definitely printed and designed with this deck in mind, or at least this card in mind. But Zaft has other damage options, Battle of Aces, things like that, and this really helps. It's a furthering of that strategy. Additionally, it has Breach, so that 5 HP with a Breach 3, meaning you're heavily hurting bases if you're crashing any units, which is always an effective strategy. With this, you're removing some of the units that are already a problem, or putting damage on units that might be out of reach, and then you're just coming in and really putting some heavy damage on the opponent's board. Very powerful, very needed card for Zaft to take it to the next level. Very cool to see it printed in this deck. The artwork's great on it. I love this Savior Gundam. It definitely does feel like the savior of Zaft. Moving on. Now we're up to the pilot. So we've got one pilot reveal, one command reveal, one base reveal to finish off our 10 cards. Shin Asuka is a level 4, 1 cost, Zaft Minerva Squad Coordinator. He gives +3/+0. I believe there's maybe 1 or 2 other pilots that just give all of their stats to one side, or a large number stat to one side. There's not a lot of them. So I really am interested in this unit because it seems like his main purpose is going to be to attach him to an Impulse Gundam and crash into big heavy units, or otherwise move huge obstacles out of the way. Additionally, on attack, if this is a Minerva Squad unit, which more than likely it will be, choose one of your resources and set it as active. So, on attack, choose one of your resources, set it as active, bring in another unit right after, bring out a command, whatever you need to do. Shin is going to make it easier to do that. You link him up, you get him on the field, and then on attack, your standing resources. We have some green cards, which give you a ramp. They ramp you into EX resources quicker. We don't have a lot of things that stand resources during your turn. So this is very cool. It's super exciting to me. I can't wait until I'm able to actually test this out, because I also think this will help the Vulture deck. It just gives me more options and flexibility for those action commands on my opponent's turn. So yeah, very cool card. Again, he's got a variety of Impulse Gundams to link up to, as well as just anything that has the link option for Minerva Squad or Coordinator. So he's got a variety of units which he can link up with. Of course, he's a burst add to hand like many pilots. So overall, very solid card. Very excited for Shin Asuka. We are at the base. Level 2, 1 cost, Minerva. So this is the main warship of the Zaft Minerva Squad, obviously. It is a 5 HP base, Zaft Minerva warship. Burst, deploy this card. Deploy, add 1 shields to your hand. Then, if it's your turn, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, return 1 to the top, and place the remaining card in your trash. This, as I stated earlier, it's going to be just really solid synergy with all already existing Vulture mechanics and strategies. It's very good for the Impulse synergy mechanics and strategies. It's just a great card for purple. I see this used in a variety of decks, not just the Destiny Ignition deck. It's obviously wonderful there, but it's got so many other applications. You might even want to run it in the blue-purple aggro build right now. It might be a card to take that deck even further. It's already dominating the competition at this point, most of the new type challenges and everything since Vegas, and I think the Minerva Squad, Minerva might actually be a good, solid extra piece. That we're down to just one more. And this last one is actually probably the most exciting for some people, and I didn't fully realize all of its potential until looking at some other news coverage around this deck today, and then it's like, oh wow, why didn't that occur to me sooner? and that is going to be the Giant Killing command. So, Giant Killing, level 4, 3-cost command. Main or action, choose one active enemy unit with 4 or less AP and destroy it. Now that alone, already very, very solid. I believe the artwork is actually of Shin using the impulse to destroy the Freedom. So it's Kira getting kind of taken down a peg, but at the same time, what's really exciting about this is the potential of using it when you have Kira linked up out on the battlefield. So just going back to my notes here real quick, with the Giant Killing card, you can combine it with Kira plus the Freedom, or Kira and any of his linked units. It could be any of the Freedoms. It could be various Strike Gundam. The main thing is his on-attack ability of lowering the AP of an enemy unit. Now, the shrink abilities are already pretty cool. There's a lot of effective strategies for shrinking your opponent's units and then just taking control and taking them out. This allows you to shrink big units to manageable threats and then hit them with straight removal. By itself, Giant Killing only being able to target 4 or less, I mean, it can target a lot of things already. A G-Fred's targetable, a Wing Zero is targetable, anything that doesn't already have a pilot linked up, any solid unit that's put down by itself, short of your really, really heaviest ones, your Providence Gundam and things like that, they're at risk of getting taken out by this as is. Combine it with Unforeseen Accident, 2 commands, which, you know, sometimes you're doing that to take out one target. It seems like maybe not a fair trade, but if it's the main unit on your opponent's board, you're gonna be able to then take back full control of that game. I think this is going to be a key piece for this deck and for Purple's strategy moving forward. I like this a little bit better than Fatal Strike. Decisive Last Stand is obviously a harder card to use, and this is just, it's got so many applications. But the fact that it can be combined with the Unforeseen Incident and allow that command to get a little more effectiveness is wonderful. It really makes me lean towards, I think the version of this deck that I want to build is the purple and white one. Again, you could easily go in either direction. There's a strong purple-red Zaft build there, and then we've got what I think is a very powerful purple-white orb build in the opposite direction. But yeah, that's our 10 new cards that have been revealed. I think this is a definite considerable buy this product. I'm sure most people say that about any of the Gundam products that come out, especially if you're already into the game. But this one, more than most, it's got a lot of value for the veteran player, for the advanced player. I think it's a little tougher to say for beginner player, but even if you're a beginner player and you're a huge Seed fan, this is a wonderful starting point. And if you're worried about not having enough staples to compete, it seems like this is going to be the kind of deck that's going to have your heavy, powerful staples to get you into the game and get you kind of a running start. So I'm looking forward to it when it releases. I'm hoping to play in an event. I do already have one of the decks pre-ordered at a shop, but I don't know if they'll have enough players to run the event at that shop. That being said, Impact, our local game store, is probably going to be the shop that we will play this event, assuming there is an event for it. And before I go today, I did want to just give you guys a heads up. If you're following us on social media, whether that be TikTok, Facebook, or even our YouTube channel here, you may have already seen by this point, or you may see soon, we're actually partnered up with Impact Gaming. So Impact Gaming Center in Fairview Heights is a wonderful store of the Metro East. We did just want to mention that and, you know, kind of give them a thanks for working with us and for helping our humble channel continue to grow. Other than that, just kind of wanted to outline some quick videos for you guys that we're going to hope to get up this week, just to give you kind of a heads up of what direction the channel's going to be going from here moving forward. So, one of the next videos we've got already kind of in the pipe, it should be edited, it may even make it up before this, we'll see, is going to be the purple-blue aggro deck. It's the top of the meta right now. You've seen many lists like it. Recently, Dylan with High Grade Strategies here on the channel, he actually took an event entirely, first place, lots of prizes, lots of, support for the team. It's wonderful. So we definitely want to bring you a breakdown and a deck tech about that deck, as well as the Gundam Assemble game. So Danielle is very, very excited to be showing off the Gundam Assemble model kits. Very similar to Warhammer. It looks like it's going to play a lot like Warhammer. We're just getting a full reveal of the rules and such, and how they play out this week. I watched some of that this morning, and I'm pretty excited about it. She's definitely into the models and miniatures and wants to do painting tutorials and things of that nature, and it seems like this will be a great way for us to get started with that. So look forward to that Gundam Assemble video, Dylan's blue-purple deck tech, and many more videos on the channel. Other than that, if you like this content, you like this news video, please go ahead and like, share, comment, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. See you later, Strategist.